Welcome to the Unapologetically Prioritizing Peace video podcast channel, where we will discuss the revolutionary concepts of achieving success without sacrificing your well-being. I'm your host, Carla Hunt, CEO and founder of Prioritizing Peace. You can achieve your success without sacrifice. Thank you for being here. Let's get started. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you know when the next video podcast has been released. I would like to give a warm welcome to my special guest, James Wedmore. For the last 15 years, James has leveraged his expertise to help digital CEOs build and scale their online businesses through courses and trainings like his signature program, Business by Design, and other programs such as Sales Page by Design and Nail Your Niche. His motto is simple: work hard, play harder. I love that. What are the 5 ingredients every digital business needs?
Yeah, great question. So whether we stay with our airplane metaphor or a machine, I like looking at our business like a machine. And an airplane is a machine. You know, I'm building out a camper van in my spare time right now, and it's the same concept. It's a series of systems that work together. Like as I'm doing the camper van, I have to build out a heater. And then I got to build out the air conditioner, and then there's like the batteries and all that type of stuff. And it all comes together and they all work together. And we want to look at our business the same way. It's a machine with a series of interlocking, interworking, interconnected systems. Okay. So let's look at those. The first one, and I call these gears. I like it because they all kind of connect together. The first one to me is absolutely the most important. And by the way, like so many people are just aren't looking at any of these. Okay. When I got started and I heard that you could like get paid to teach, get paid to coach, and get paid to help people, which is like dream come true for me. I thought that it was create an ebook. That was a long time ago. Create an ebook, put an add to cart button on a website, and just start cashing checks. There's that movie Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner, if you build it, they will come. Wrong, because I built it and no one came, no money, no results, right? So what we have to understand is the vast majority of our function and role as a digital CEO is being in a more outward marketing based function in the company. So the first ingredient, the first gear, is creating an irresistible offer. And I can talk a long time about this one itself because your offer is the ask. So I love to use the analogy of like a party. Like Carla, if you're having a party and you want everyone to come, you want to think of the way in which you're going to invite people, the way in which you're going to ask them to come. You might be like, James, you got to come to my party because so-and-so is going to be there and we're going to have a magician. Well, if you got magician, I'm in. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll be there. What time? And there's like, well, we're going to have food. You know, it's like we're going to have a taco bar. You know, all these things make up the invite that are either going to get me to come or get me to say no. And people don't look at that. They just look at the party themselves and they go, okay, what do I need for the party? And I'm going to have a party and it's going to be this date and it's this time, it's these hours and it's this location. That's the party. That's not the invite. And that's what most people are doing is they're creating that perfect digital product or that coaching package or the membership, and they're focusing all on that, and they haven't focused at all on how to invite people. And you want your invite to be irresistible. And that's where the emphasis needs to be. And here's the beautiful thing, you only need one. And we know people have built $1 million business off of one offer. Many people, you know, instead of what a lot of people do is like, I'm going to sell like 20, 30 things. You don't need to do that. You need one party. And the RSVP, what's the last thing that every RSVP has, every party invite has? It asks for the RSVP. Are you coming or not? It's kind of like when school, when you liked the kid in class and you sent a little note, do you like me? Yes or no, right? It's an invitation with a response. And that's the first piece. And This is so incredibly important because if you follow anybody else, it's any level of success selling any type of information, digital product, content, course, whatever, none of them are successful without first this piece. Think about the word inherent in itself, irresistible offer. It's an invite to a party that you cannot resist. Why would you make a crappy offer? Why would you make an offer that no one really likes? This is an art and it's a skill. And we can go deeper on this if you like, but that's the first one, is you have to start with that piece. The second gear, the second piece is what we call the sales system. Now, the sales system is the way in which we get that offer in front of people. That's a big piece. You see people doing this with webinars and challenges and video series and live launches and making up other ways. Well, I always joke and say one day there's going to be like holograph launches, holograms. You're going to have like a hologram machine in your hand, and James will pop up and he'll be just a hologram there, taking you through this launch. So the sales system is the way in which we introduce the offer. It's the way in which people come into our world and we introduce the offer. This is huge. And people always ask, what's the best way to launch? What's the best way to sell? What's the one right, best only? This is a very dangerous, limiting mindset that people have because they assume there's only one. They assume that one is the best and the others aren't. And what happens is they do one and it didn't work. So they go to the other. I did a challenge, didn't really work, didn't feel good, didn't feel successful. We use our emotions instead of numbers. We gotta be careful with that. And so we flip to the next one. I'll do a webinar. Webinar didn't work. I'll do this. And it's really about 10% of the success is gonna come down to whether you use the webinar or the challenge or the video series, whatever. It's what's happening inside of that. It's the messaging, it's the content, it's the sequence, and it's the experience. It's the overall value that gets created. This is like, I like to use a lot of metaphors. It's like you're at the food court at the mall, and the person at like Panda Express or whatever comes over and says, you want a sample? And, one of two things is really going to happen. You're either going to like it or not like it. And you're like, oh, this is gross. Or you're going to be like, this is delicious. Let me get this for lunch. And that's what this second gear is. The sales system is. It's let me experience you. Let me get a free taste test of what your party is going to be like before I decide to RSVP. That's a pretty good metaphor. I like that. Okay. So yeah. So that hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So let's go on to the third gear. Okay. Now, I wish I could only do 3 gears, or 2 gears, or only 1 gear. But I had to choose like what is the most concise, efficient model that works. You need all of these, right? So if you have a great offer, the first gear, but you don't have the sales system, then no one's going to find out about the offer. Okay. So, but we're talking about the business at large, building the successful business. Just having a product on your website, just having a website, just having an Instagram account, just being an influencer doesn't mean you have a business. A business is a scalable, replicatable, repeatable process. It's a series of systems moving together like a machine. So the third gear in our machine is what we call ascension. Now, this is a big, big topic. Keep this one very simple, but this is a doozy because the ascension gear is about realizing when someone comes into your world and they fall in love with your stuff, there's going to be a decision that is made. Do they keep working with you or do they leave? And ascension is about creating a product path within your business so you create go from a one-time consumer to a lifetime customer. Now, why did I include this and why I think this is such an important piece? How many out there already have a product? And now all your effort and energy is spent trying to chase the next sale. I got to get another, first of the month, start over again. Got to get another sale. Who wants my stuff? I'm running out of people. Instead, realizing that when people come into that first offer, there's an opportunity to create something where they continue working with you long term. That's ascension. It's lifetime customer value. Companies with the highest lifetime customer value win every time, because as things like ad costs go up, it costs more money to compete, but you have a higher lifetime customer value. That means you can spend more. Sky's the limit. In fact, we see businesses 2 to 3x their total revenue the moment they add a back-end offer or a secondary product or program. And this could be anything. Could be they work with you one-on-one. This could be a higher ticket, more intimate coaching. One of the things I don't do it that much anymore, but I've done a few and it's really fun, are VIP days. So people will, buy one of my programs and stuff like that. And then you can apply for a VIP day to work with me one-on-one. And, I charge a lot of money, $15,000. So it's only for people that are like at a certain level and not just can afford 15K, but that investment going back into that business is worth a ton to them, because we're working on some deeper, higher level stuff. So that's like a secondary offer. And here's the beautiful thing that people don't get about the back end offer is that you don't need to do the level of selling with it that you did with the first offer, because they're already a yes. So do you think I sell the VIP day? No. It's just there on certain places and people find it or they reach out and say, how do I work more with you? I go, well, we have a VIP day. If you want that, here's the application to see if you're a right fit. Boom. There's no selling there. So you can double to triple your revenue without having to double or triple the amount of effort you spend selling or marketing. They're already in your world. You're already amazing. They already know that. They just want to keep working with you. Why people aren't doing that is crazy to me. That baffles me. But it's because we didn't know. Now you know. So that's that one. The next one, the next gear is attraction. Now, attraction is a big topic, but we want to keep it really simple. We need a system in place for getting the word out about you. If you don't have a process that you are deploying on the daily to get the world to find you, if you're the internet's best kept secret, we got a problem with that, right? So we need a process. We need a strategy in place for attracting your right people. And that's a big topic. But I think the mistake people make is they either do nothing to be proactive about reaching new people, or they try to do everything. Both are pretty failed attempts right there. So what we talk about is the one platform. What's the one place that you can give 100% of your time and attention? So that one place for me is my podcast. So that's where like all my effort goes. Every week, I post at least one episode, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 episodes on my podcast. It's like 460 something episodes, right? And I've been doing that for a really long time. Then from there, we branched out a little bit and we started using tools like Instagram predominantly to promote the podcast. My attraction system is it's as simple as that. Do a podcast a week. And then when we go back to what you were originally asking about the difference between the digital CEO and other struggling entrepreneurs, is that we have metrics. We run from that dashboard. So it's really as simple as saying I do at least one episode a week and I measure those downloads, those listens. And our entire focus is to increase those downloads. Let's get more people to listen. And it's a lot of like, letting our listeners know through email, through Instagram, a little Facebook ads, etc. But that's the primary place. Where are you attracting your audience? What platform are you using? And for all of us that are digital product creators, your attraction strategy must include content. It is your content, not all content, but it's the quality, caliber, and type of content that will attract, or will be the opposite, repel your audience. And so where's that content? Where is that content being hosted? Like me for the band I love telling the stories of me building a band. No one cares about the fact that I'm building a band except me. No one else cares, but I'm going to make you care. I'm going to make it relevant for everybody because every once in a while, I get an opportunity to be a student again. I get an opportunity to be on the other side of entering a new world, learning, consuming, buying, investing in myself. And I'm doing that. And I go to YouTube for all these people that are creating content around how to build a camper van. And all these DIY channels. I love it. I mean, like late at night on the phone, watching video after video. And then some of them have something for free that they opt you into, right? So I'm attracted to their content. I'm searching certain terms. Bam, there they are. I go, wow, she's really great. He knows his stuff. She's really helpful. And then some of them, I don't know why not more of them, have a digital product. Carla, I have purchased like 9 or 10 online courses on how to build a camper van at this point. And a good amount of them have a lot, I'm going to sound so egotistical. A lot of them need to take my program and learn how to do this. But there's some that are really great and I want to, stay in their world. But I wouldn't have ever purchased their stuff if they didn't have a great offer, if they didn't have a sales system, and I would have never been a part of their sales system if I had never found them on YouTube, if I had never found their content. Okay. So that's a 4-year. We got the irresistible offer. We got the sales system. We got ascension. We've got attraction. The last one. Now this one is what we like to call your vitamins, because no one wants to take their vitamins. No one wants to take the medicine. You need it, but it's not the one you want. And it's so sad to me. It really is. Because my biggest downfall, pitfall, frustration, weakness is I don't really do the whole like selling the flashy, thing. I really am the doctor that says, here's the prescription of what you need, because it's what works. And that definitely is a big piece of what this last gear is all about. And that is team. Even as I say that, there's someone going, ugh, gross. No, thank you. And before you click away, stop listening to me. So hear me out. So it starts with a very simple premise, okay, that I would say most people I talk to in general, they start a business because of all the positive things they want. And at the bottom of that is freedom. I want more money. I want freedom. I want to help more people. That's about it. It's beautiful. Okay. So let's look at those. You want to make more money. You want more freedom, which that's a very broad word. Freedom means different things to different people, but in the very sense is this kind of autonomy of choice, do what I want, when I want, where I want. And I want to help more people. That's beautiful. Big heart, living on purpose. And that is awesome. Did you also say, I want to start a business so that I can work 4 times as long, never take a day off, work on things that I hate doing and that I'm not very good at, that I have to repeat over and over again every single day, that takes away from the things I actually love doing? No, you didn't. None of us said that, right? And so when you're starting a business, the moment you said, I have a business, you created a machine that has multiple roles in it. Even if it's like 4 or 5 roles. And if it's just you, you're trying to fill them all yourself. And that's why you don't have the freedom. That's why you're working more than you want to be working. And that's also why you're not helping as many people as you want to help, because helping people is a role. But how are you supposed to fulfill your purpose, your dharma, helping other people when you're spending all day in your email inbox or doing tech or admin or customer support or working on your About Me page, right? You're doing everything else except for what you're here to do. And so the moment we can bring even one person on to help us, and this could be a part-time virtual assistant overseas, very inexpensive, you start to get your time back. But if you're not doing that, unfortunately, what we're saying is that your time isn't very valuable. In other words, if you're doing something still that you shouldn't be doing, that someone else could do very inexpensively, then what you're saying is, like, let's say we could find someone to do it. I know it sounds crazy the first time people hear it, and this will be the first time for some people, but we have a team of overseas outsourcers that we've worked with since I started. They're like family to me. And because of the strength of the US dollar over other countries, the dollar goes further. So when you could pay somebody like $6, $7 an hour to do something, get it done, but you say, no, I'll do it myself, then what you're really saying is that you're only worth $6 or $7 an hour. And if you're saying you're only worth $6 or $7 an hour, you're saying your time isn't that valuable. And if you're saying your time isn't that valuable and you don't see the value in your time, how do you ever expect your clients and customers to value your time? And the math just don't add up. In fact, I'm going to pull out my calculator to demonstrate this. So 2,080 times 7 is $14,000 a year. So if you spend all day, and sadly we work even more than 2080 hours, that's 2,080 work hours a year. How was that number? Times, and I did 7, I think I did. 6 or 7, I forget. That's under 15,000 a year. I don't know right now what in the United States, what the poverty level of annual income is, but this is lower than that, right? So the math don't add up. If you spend all day in your business working, and I know these are really harsh things I say. I know, I get it. It's tough love, but that's because I did this. I struggled for 4.5 years. I had to move back in with my parents. How embarrassing. I'm like, got a college degree, and I'm like, all my friends are successful in getting married. I had to move back in because I didn't understand this stuff. So you spend all day doing things that someone else could do, but you're doing these $6 an hour tasks, and then you want to wonder why you don't have $1 million business. It's very simple math. And it comes back to the full circle of what I'm sharing is like, we got to know a little numbers here. And so if instead, this is like a fun little thing. Let's say someone here says, James, I know this sounds a little crazy, and it's really not, but I want to make $250,000 in the next 12 months. First of all, I'd commend you and I'd say that's awesome. It's a good start. That's $120 an hour if you worked the 2080 hours, 2,080 hours, right? So what I did is I took $250,000 or 250,000 divided by 2,080, and I got 120. Here's what that means. If you do that magic math yourself, all that means is every time you open that laptop and you say, I'm going to go to work today, I'm going to get some stuff done, I'm going to crush it, I'm going to hustle, whatever the cool kids are saying these days, you want to, before you start working, you want to ask yourself, is this $120 an hour activity or less or more? If it's more, great. But this is something I had to get really good at, and all of you will as well, is the prioritization of the high value 5% activities. And I know how to say no to a lot of things. Entrepreneurship, digital CEO is about the discipline of saying no. It's about understanding that the less you do, the more you'll make. Staying busy does not scale your business. Yeah, you might have phases where you got a lot to do, but are you spending half your day doing things that don't matter? Our time is so precious, so short, and there's already so many people, places, things, and resources fighting for your attention all day long. And if you don't get really darn good at getting super clear on what are the highest value activities and say yes to those and let go of the rest, then you're not going to get that freedom financially or time or otherwise. And you're not going to have that much time left to actually do the things you want to do in your business, like helping people. So the team is like the vitamin. Oh, I don't want a team. But what the team gives you is everything you signed up for when you said, I want to start my own business. It's the only way. You want to go fast? Go alone, but you won't get far. You want to go far? We go together. And you can get started right now, part-time, virtual assistant. Okay, those are our 5 gears. Whew, I tried to do that as fast as I could. How'd I do?
You did great.
Okay, good.
You mentioned the 5% of activities. Yeah. What are some of those activities that we should be staying?
Oh, great question. The 5% activities, this is like Pareto's principles on steroid here, like 80-20 rule. So all of them have to do, there's something that you have to do with each of them with the 5 gears that we just mentioned, interestingly enough. Okay. So creating, or rather making your offer irresistible, is a 5% activity. Creating and deploying your sales machine is a 5% activity. Building your team, putting the processes, the systems, and the structure in place, and attracting the right people, even if it's one person right now, is a 5% activity. Putting your best stuff out there to attract your audience, 5% activity. So if it's not selling your stuff, building your audience, or building your team, we have to really, really ask, is this a 5% activity? Now, does it mean that you're only allowed to do the 5% activities and you can't do anything else? No. There's still stuff that has to get done, and you're at where you're at in your business. And I don't want anyone to now hear what I have to say and say, well, then I'll never be successful because I don't have a team and I'm not where I want to be and I can't afford a team, so I can't grow. No, that's not it. It's about prioritization. It's about starting your day and your week with those 5% activities, and the other stuff goes to the bottom of the list. Okay. Versus what people do is they make creating their messaging and their sales system and their offer the last thing on the list. They'll spend weeks creating a video for their online course. The lighting wasn't right, so I refilmed it. And look, that stuff's important. I want you to have high quality premium products, 100%. But you can create a 1,000 video online course that is Academy Award worthy, and it will not bring you a single dollar. Remember that. The results. What are the results? Sales, customers. Nothing happens in your business until sales are made. So Carly, you know me. I like to go to fundamentals and basics. So this is just real simple, right? Nothing happens in your business until a sale is made. And creating a product doesn't cause a sale. So it's a cause-effect relationship. What actions, which is what Carla was asking, what actions cause sales and customers to come in? And making that offer, putting that sales system in place, whether that's the webinar, host that webinar, whether it's a challenge, do that challenge, announce it, throw some ads at it, talk about it on social media, show up for that challenge, make that offer, close the sale. These are 5% activities. But we kind of have it inverse. Most people, or definitely people who are struggling and been struggling for some time, they flipped it. They're spending 80 to 90% of their time doing everything else because there's so much that you could be doing. I need to do another draft of my PDF so it looks cool. And, I'm going to create a fancier portal for the members area and get this. And like all that stuff's awesome and it's important, but don't do that at the losing sight of what actually causes sales in your business. Does that help?
Yes. And I wanted to add, I think for me, being of service is what really has pushed me into just like I shouldn't say doing all the things because that's not what I do, doing the 5%. So as of yesterday, I launched this podcast because I was like, well, I have to be ready for James Wedmore because he's going to be on tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm creating a podcast. I'm doing this thing. This is it's not happening. So being of service is really important to ushering the action and then just learning from.
100%. And when that's what drives people, like it drives you, you'll go very far with that. And it's important that we know what being of service looks like. When we're just, working on our website or doing all these other things that don't really put ourselves out there, that's not really when you're being of service. We're of service when we're showing up, when we're making our offers, and when we're with our customers. So, at the detriment of, me and people starting to think like, oh, I can't do this, I want to share what I wish someone would have told me, and no one did. I was never told this until I kind of had to figure it out on my own. But when you start this kind of business, you have to sell. And people go, oh, ew, I don't like that. I don't want to sell. And that can deter people. But the reality is there is no business and role where you're not selling in some capacity. So every business, the sale has to be made, and it's going to have to be you for now, at least. But here's the thing. There's this whole fascinating phenomenon that maybe some of you listening who have invested in yourself, something magical happens when you invest in yourself. I like to say that the transformation that you want to cause in someone's life or be the catalyst for begins with the transaction. People don't value free. They don't put skin in the game because every change happens in someone's life because something happened before the change. And that's the decision. But not like a wishy-washy, out of integrity decision, like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to change my life around today. I'm talking about the decision where you're sitting there and you almost like have to take deep breaths. You're like, oh man, do I do this? I don't know. I mean, this sounds like I could do it, but there's been times in the past that I haven't. And this is kind of making me nervous. And then no matter how long that takes, that back and forth, that game of tennis that you play with your head and your heart, you at one point or another, you nod your head and you go, okay, I'm in. And you back that decision with the commitment, with skin in the game, with that investment. And I don't know how many times I've said in my life, well, I definitely have to do this because I just paid a lot of money and there's no way I'm going to let this money go to waste. And that's the power and the opportunity we have. So when Carla says to be of service, that can take us really far because sales are required for your business to grow and be successful. And that's one of the processes the systems I shared in one of the 5 ingredients. And to sell is to be of service, period.
Yeah.
So when you are not selling, yeah, but you learned it. I learned it the hard way and you learn it better. And the hard way means, wow, I'm not making any sales, which means I'm not making any money, which means every day the flame of my passion, that energy that keeps you going, wanes. What if I told you that your decision to operate from fear to not sell caused your business dreams to move further and further away from you every day? Because every day you don't see results, your passion, that flame, that internal flame begins to flicker and wane. Because what we need as humans is we need a little like proof. We need a little physical evidence that we're going in the right direction, that we're making progress. And when you've been at something, been there, done that, 4.5 years, when you're putting your heart and soul into something for, let's just say, a year, and you have nothing to show for it, you don't see any evidence of, I've made a difference, I'm closer now than I was yesterday or a year ago, how much longer can you keep that up? That's really hard. That takes a level of commitment, determination, discipline, and willpower that most of us do not have. But if you start focusing on the right things, to do the right things the right way, and you see evidence of that even 90 days from now, look how far I've come, that reignites that energy, that passion, that flame. So every day that you say, I'm too afraid to sell because what people think of me is more important, I can't get rejected because I have a fragile ego. Now, all these things are saying is because that's what I had. Then every day that passes, you guarantee that you will not see evidence that you're making progress. And then it'll be one day where you wake up and you go, I've been spinning my wheels and feeling busy, but I have nothing to show for it. Why am I doing this? And now the conversation isn't about what Carla's talking about, which is how do I be of more service? How do I make a bigger impact? It's just a question of, do I even keep doing this? Should I even bother going? And that's a dangerous place to be. Yeah. All the while, it's because we were avoiding those 5% activities. And I don't want that for anybody. So, yeah.
That was just like a huge, like, resonating moment where I was just like, I've been through all of those experiences within the last year. And then I took like the leap of faith and I was just like, I'm going to quit my day job because I know that it's not allowing me to be the person that I need to be for my business.
Mm-hmm. So that's a really scary decision. That must have taken a lot of courage.
It did. It was actually a little bit scarier than jumping out of a perfectly good airplane.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But I commend you for that because, you know, I never want to I never tell people what to do. Like, yeah, you should quit your job or anything. But I just think at this point in my life, you know, I don't know how else to say it that other than like every day freaking matters. And they're numbered. And I would rather, this is me, I can't speak for Carl or anybody else. I would rather spend the rest of my days doing something I loved at the higher risk of it maybe not working than spend another day having security, absolutely, but doing something I hated. That today doesn't make any sense to me. I think our well-being, I think doing what we love, loving what we do, I think is the most important thing, or one of the most important things. There's a lot of important things out there, but that's pretty important. And I think when you pay attention, what do I love? What is my heart already tugging me towards? That's a sign of something bigger. And Einstein has this quote that I always forget. I should memorize this quote because I always forget it, but I love to reference it, where he says something to the effect of, we grew up in a society that has ignored the intuitive and the feminine and the in the heart, and put an overemphasis on the brain, the critical thinking, logical mind. And so someone in Carla's life could very easily say, like, Carla, are you nuts? That's so illogical, irrational, so reckless and risky. Because you had a sure thing going. You had stability. You had security. But there was also that part of Carla that said, yeah, but there's something missing that I'm craving more of, that I know will be me expressing myself more. And how could I go another day not living my life that way? And I think we need to fall in love more with the process than the result. I have made $1 million from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Less than a day, less than a 9 to 5. We've built an 8-figure a year company. We've gotten money and results and all these type of things. And I can tell you, as anyone else that has done that too, is no amount of money is ever going to change you. It's not better over here because I have more money. And I never want people to think that. Where it's better is where you're putting your heart. So where are you putting your heart? Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your love? Where are you putting your attention? Where do you put your magic sauce? And it's just like when you're working on that webinar, you're working on that offer, you're putting that content together, that's it. That's the destination. You're already there. And if you're not loving that, you're like, I hate teaching, I hate coaching, then I'm just going to say this is the wrong type of business for you. And there's something else out there for you, because we all have loves. We all have desires. You will have wants, desires, and loves until we die. So when you fall in love with the work that you're doing, you're already at the destination. And I don't want to spoil the ending of the story for you, but when you put all that love into the work you're doing, your people will feel it. And that's why they join. That's why they want to work with you. They're like, I don't know what it is about Carla, but everything she just seems to do, like I read her stuff or I watch her videos and I feel amazing. There's just something about her. I got to work with her. Right? It's like, yeah, because I love what I do. I do what I love and I'm doing what I'm here to do. And that's what attracts everything that you're looking for. But if you think, I hate my business, I hate what I'm doing, this all sucks, I'm going to do it begrudgingly so that someday, one day I can finally be enough, finally be worthy, finally be happy because I make a certain amount of money, it'll never happen. And I don't want anyone to do that because that's a scary, scary path to go down. So hopefully that makes sense.
Makes so much sense. Yeah.
Easier said than done, though. I get it.
It is easier said than done, but I do it all out of love and gratitude.
Yeah, we have to. We get to.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Unapologetically Prioritizing Peace video podcast with your host, Carla Hunt. If you have any questions or would like to suggest a topic, please email me